Welcome to the show. Got another great guest for you guys. Lately I've been bringing on a lot of young guys, and it's kind of eye-opening to me, but it's also makes me feel really good to see some of the young generation out there hustling, working hard. This dude is the standard of hard work, especially at a very young age. And it's been an honor and a privilege, honestly, to get to know you. I know I'm a lot older than you are, but watching you grow, watching your forward progress has been amazing. You're the CEO of Royalty Renewables, which is a solar company. You're out in Colorado now. You're moving down to New Mexico, so you say. And so I just wanted to welcome to the show, Adam Kremer. What's happening, brother?
Yeah, I appreciate the intro. That was awesome. I appreciate rolling in the same circles with you, and yeah, the relationship that we've had that's kind of built up over the past, what is it, almost a year now. Once we get into June, it's been awesome. It's been awesome to watch you, and now that you're back on and posting regularly, and like just getting that motivation from you, it's awesome to watch. So I appreciate it.
It's been wild, bro. I mean, being off socials when you're on socials every day for like 2, 3 months it's eye opening. You know what I mean? And for me, it was kind of bugged out. It was a little bit of a relief. I'll be honest with you, because, you were so deep in all this stuff, and sometimes it takes our focus away. Sometimes, not all the time, like as long as you're using it the right way, but you can get so caught up in all the shit going on. And for me, it was just a really nice break. At the same time, I was a little bit anxious because you build up a lot of momentum, you build a lot of following, and people are interested in seeing what you have to say every day. So, but I appreciate that, man. And it is good to be back. It's good to be posting every day and helping people out, because in the end of the day, in the circles we fly in, helping people and helping people become better every day is kind of the goal. Give everybody a little bit of a background on who, where you came from, what's your background a little bit, so we can get this thing going.
Yeah, heck yeah. So I mean, I know a lot of the audience, or at least from what I take away, a lot of the audience is in the trades, and that's actually where I started. Fresh out of high school, went straight to the oil field doing electrical. So I was an electrician for almost, it was about 2.5 years, as long as I was doing that. It was just a lot of ups and downs with it. Oil was getting kind of goofy. They had where it literally got to the point where they'd buy it back from you. It was like negative $37 a barrel or something crazy. So that crashed, and then hopped into building solar. And from that, it was just a lot of, I mean, you have to get into a good company, as I'm sure you know. If the culture doesn't fit, neither will you. And that's what I found out the hard way. I was in a company that just had terrible culture. It was really like family based. So there's like family like associated with like the foremans. Those guys got in good with them, and then of course anything that went wrong, blame got pushed away. So then that ended up ending with me getting fired, which not a great thing to happen. But 3 days later, had a call to come back, and I said no. So just
Good
based
on
on,
you, bro. Good on
yeah,
you, honestly, because fuck you. You know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. And especially when the culture is as bad as it is, like I didn't care to go back. And I mean, it was more of an ego thing that made me say no, but it pushed me right into sales. I mean, trying to expand on what I was doing. I mean, just got laid off in the oil field, just got fired here, like bunch of different things were going down. So I wanted to transition out, and I'm glad that I did. It kind of pushed me in that direction. And from there, it's just been knocking on doors, building teams, and going crazy with it. So that's my story building up till now, at least.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And I heard you talk about culture, and it's interesting you brought that up because I'm a huge proponent of culture. And yes, I am a lot older than you. I've probably had a shit ton more jobs than you have, but in that process, I've learned a lot of what I think is right to do and what's not right to do, and what kind of culture I want to build now inside my own organization. And now it gives you the opportunity, having your own experiences, to grow your team and grow your people the way you see you want to be treated. Right at the end of the day, it really it comes down to treating people how you want to be treated, I think. And a lot of that gets lost sometimes. I think the generations have changed now, where culture is changing. People are putting more emphasis on it, and I think it's so freaking important. But maybe you could speak to the type of culture now you're bringing to your own team, your own people, and how you're trying to grow.
Yeah, I mean, culture is a crazy thing. It starts from the top down,
Amen.
100%. And it doesn't take much to get it thrown off, depending on who you have in your organization. So we've really vet everybody. I mean, when they come in, we knock doors with all of the reps right away. So it's either me or Brock. Of course, you know Brock, business partner, and everything that I have going on. It's either me or him that's knocking with them. So we have a full day or 2 days of just completely vetting them the entire time before we even onboard. So yes, we're out there knocking doors, we're training them, but overall in between every single door, we're having conversations with them. We're seeing like what they enjoy to do, like what motivates them, like why are you taking this position versus something else? Like it's door knocking. It's not something that's huge or everybody is excited to get out and do. So just really vetting the person and figuring out that like we mix. If not, even if you're going to go out and make 50 sales a week, that's ridiculous. But I mean, if you're going to bring a terrible culture with us, we're not going to have it. So that's been a huge process for us and getting used to it right away. When I started, it was kind of bring one, bring all, like anybody that wants to join, like we're just looking to make sales. And that it just doesn't work. I mean, they're not willing to get trained. They're not willing to listen. And on top of that, everybody has conversations within your company, and misery loves company, as sad as it is. Positivity loves company, but they have decision to choose their company. Negativity does not. So they go to anyone and everyone, just kind of spill it out. So it just makes it tough for you as a business owner, but it makes it tough for everybody because you have to deal with that shit. So yeah, we've really just been vetting everybody quite a bit when they come in, just to make sure that they align.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I equate that to when I started my company, right? So for those of you listening, you should know by now, but I have a plumbing and heating company. And when we first started the business, it's like you take every same thing, but different principle, right? You take every customer that comes through the door because you want the business, you're trying to get funds rolling, you're trying to make some money, because you don't want to be sitting with no clients. But then now, as we've grown now over 3.5+ years, and we've grown a pretty large portfolio, I can now say, yeah, these customers are no good, same as employees, right? Like if the employee, and I've had to do that too, when employees don't fit, when your culture is so important. And when you say, positivity and negativity and all those things, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, especially in my type of business, like, because there are guys working in packs. And when guys work in packs like that, the possibility of a rotten egg spoiling the bunch, as they say, or a rotten apple spoiling the bunch, as they say, is very prominent. One guy comes in with a bad attitude and everybody's in a bad mood, and you feel it every single day. So it's probably the same thing. I had it across the board, but I was able to eliminate guys that were bringing that negativity. I was able to eliminate customers that were bringing negativity or weren't paying or weren't the type of customers that I was trying to find, because at the end of the day, we also have to find our avatar, right? I mean, it's the same thing with a business partner. You have to find somebody, which you and I have had extensive conversations about, and how important it is and how hard it can be too, and growing a business with a partnership is one of the most difficult things that there is, because you have two human beings with two different points of view on things, but then trying to make it mesh. When it works, it's great, and then when it doesn't work, it can be really hard. So, I would like you to talk a little bit about that too, because I think people will be interested to know about partnerships and how it works for you. And I'll talk a little bit about my experiences as well, so we can help the listeners.
Yeah, with partnerships, I look at it a lot as, especially because my situation is a little different than a lot. I'm brand new to business, like owning a business, brand new to it. Brock's also brand new to owning a business. So neither of us have ever gone down anything even similar to it. Our only experience was that we made sales. We knew we could make sales. We were good at training people and getting them out to the field. Let's mix this up and see what happens. And with that, much like when you have someone in your organization and they fit your core values, they may not fit that role, right? Like they come in, you may hire them for marketing, but then it turns out they're actually a better salesperson than they are at marketing. Now you align with their core values and there's a place for them. It's just needing to find that place that's going to fit them best. And I think with my situation, it was very similar. We came in, it was kind of just like, well, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to do? Right. And at the end of the day, we may not have fit in those seats as well as we thought we would have. So really kind of building out we have a flow chart that we have in place that says like, these are the roles in the company. Our names are scattered across the entire thing because we haven't filled those spots and we're the ones that are obligated to that. So setting up and making sure that we have our own roles. So if some shit goes south, of course, now we know who's to blame for that, right? Or on top of that, who's going to be doing what and what you need to send over for them. And we adjust that. And that's been adjusted throughout as we kind of figure out what positions we need to be in and where we fit best. And if there's something that neither of us are good at, like video editing is a good example of that. we're getting a video editor in there. I don't think it's a good use of our time anyhow, but neither of us are good at it. Neither of us want to do it. So then we just end up delegating that out. And those are the first ones that are going to go, so that we're happy doing the stuff that we want to in the business and the stuff that fits us best. So that's what's worked really well for me. And of course, it is developing over time, and those seats are probably going to change quite a bit even from now until the next year or two.
Yeah, man. It's interesting that you say that because, we learn a lot in our circles about a lot of this stuff. And, one of the things that we talk about, and I'm going through the same thing now, is like, and one of the things I say a lot now is I have to work into my strengths. It doesn't help the company and it doesn't help me to work into my weaknesses, because frustration and doubt and other things creep in, and then it makes the company unsuccessful, in my opinion. So what I try to do, same as you, is like you're listing out all the different jobs that you have in your business, and it's like, okay, what are you really good at? What skill are you bringing to the table that's really taking your company to the next level? And some of those lower level things. Now, I don't call social media lower level, honestly, because there's so much benefit. But if you're not good at it and you don't enjoy it, then yes, that's something you have to delegate out. And I think a lot of people get stuck with that. I do my own social media for my company, but I actually enjoy doing it. But as I've gotten better and better and better, and I'm doing more and more of it, it can become cumbersome. So you have to kind of scale back on it or hand that off to somebody else as well. So, maybe talk a little bit. I know you guys have been doing webinars and other stuff, but how have you been utilizing social media, and what's your plan if your guys are not going to handle it? Are you hiring like a team to come in, or are you just hiring like a firm to come in and help you with it? And I'm sure there are people listening that are in business that are in the same type of situation. I know personally, I've been looking lately, like, who can I work with that fits my core values, that can help on the social media side, because I think it's really important. It's a huge part of what we are all doing in this day and age. So you want to find you don't want to just plug anybody in, right? At the end of the day, you have to find somebody that's good, that's actually going to bring value to the company, just like you're trying to bring value, just like Brock's trying to bring value. So speak about that maybe a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, social media, we've leveraged it quite a bit in, Apex, they teach like build your machine side of it. And that's gotten me on, got me on a separate podcast, which kind of helped me get out to like the solar community and got us some sales teams that were built out of that. And just some great connections to potentially do some business in the future. So that's, the social media post that's organic is for more of the big picture. We're not out there searching for clients to help them get solar and that sort of stuff. That's more so what we're doing on the paid advertising, which is still on social media. So we brought William Hyder, he's the executives, if you know him. We brought him on to help us manage it. My whole thing with getting somebody to come in was for two reasons. One is I was kind of just throwing shit at the wall, as most of us do when we first start stuff.
Yeah, but that's marketing in general, bro. Like,
Yeah,
they have to throw
exactly.
shit at the wall, see if it sticks there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I dove in. I got my YouTube degree in YouTube degrees. So I dove in on that and kind of figured out what's going to work, like how we're supposed to run it and everything, got kind of a base knowledge. So I knew what to look for in someone. But bringing him on, the reason I liked it is because it wasn't as much like done for you. He has that and he does that for a lot of people. But my agreement with him, at least, is like, you're teaching me as we go through this. Like, why are we doing this stuff? How is this going to help? Why are we split testing this way? All that sort of stuff. So it's more of a learning experience. It's almost like coaching, but at the same time, I have a huge load off my plate that I'm not having to worry about. And especially if you're new to things, I highly recommend going that route, because if you end up going away from a paid service and actually bringing somebody internal, you're going to want to be able to make sure you're staying on top of it and being able to kind of coach them through it, even just a little bit. Of course,
but
you
by learning, you're creating SOPs for your company, so you can plug that in. You can make your own trainings on it, so when the next person comes in, they have all that stuff available. So that's a good way to go about it, because I think a lot of people just hand it off because they just want to take their hands off of it. But I think I like that approach, and I never really thought about that, bringing somebody in, wanting to, okay, yes, you can handle some of the posting and take it off my plate, but I do still need to know what your process is, because there will come a time when you have to bring somebody internally. What are you going to do at that point? You're going to keep paying this person, or you're going to learn it and then be able to pass it off to the person you're bringing in internally. So I like that approach. That's good.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I do that with pretty much everything. Anything that we're doing that's new for the company, I would like to at least be hands-on with it and be learning it as we go. I just love learning new stuff within business. I eat, sleep, everything when it comes to business. But overall, like learning it, I know for a fact that, yeah, bringing an internal, and at least you don't have to know everything about it. You just need to know enough that somebody's doing their damn job. Because if you bring someone in, I mean, there's smoke and mirrors that they're going to bring with them. And if you can't see through that to know that the stuff's actually getting done, you're spending money for nothing. So being able to actually have that and be able to have the oversight and be able to manage it is going to be crucial as you scale.
Yeah, and you know, this is the fun part about talking to the younger generation, man, because you know, I grew up, and I don't want to age myself, but I'm gonna have to. You know, my first internet, you know, like my first computer was like a dial-up AOL account that we used to just do like instant messenger on, you know, and even before that we had floppy disks. So to see the way the mind of a younger generation works, because you grew up in the social media world in reality, you know, I came into it later. So all this stuff, I'm like the old guy doing it. And the way you guys operate is not the same way I learned to operate. You know, I didn't learn to operate this way where I needed to know every piece of what I was trying to do and how I was trying to build it. And I think because of the world you grew up in, it's kind of par for the course, right? And it's impressive. And I love to see it because you guys are the next generation, you know. And I think in the world we live in now, there's so much confusion about how productive the younger generation really is. I'm sure to a point it kind of pisses you off when you see it because there's so many older people saying, "Oh, this new generation doesn't know shit." And I actually, the more I talk to guys like you, I realize that's not the case. You know, we're being left in pretty good hands here. You know, moving forward, my kids are being left in good hands because you guys are smart. You're just, it's just different, you know, and people fear different. But I actually am starting to learn to embrace it because I see the mind of so many of you. Like I said, I had a few guys on that are around the same age as you, and they're just killers, man. You know, like the focus, the way you go about your business, and it's really impressive to see, man. So, you know, any hats off to you, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I would say that even when they say it, like our generation, we're lazy, like all that kind of stuff. The Tony Robbins quote is, what is it? Hard times create good men, and all that. What's the,
Hard
do you know the
man.
quote?
Yeah, I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yep,
I'm pretty
yep.
sure
And then good
everybody else
times
knows.
create soft men. Yep.
Yeah,
So that's, I mean, I think that we were at that point where we had good times create soft men.
for sure.
And the people that you've had on the call are not a representation of our generation by any means. I mean,
No.
just the names that at least you listed out for me are
Yeah.
some pretty elite dudes within this generation.
Yeah.
So I would definitely agree when people say it. I don't get offended by any means. I just know that the bar for average is set so low. If anything, it makes me happier.
Yeah.
Just because I know how much easier it is to stand out and how successful we're going to be just based on the people that are coming up with us. But with the information side of it, like we are in the information age, but it definitely is a double-edged sword, and I think a lot of people are going to be feeling that a lot more soon. But the reason for that is, yes, we have access to a ton of info. Like you can go on Google, you can find anything, whereas back in the day, you have to go read a book to get that done. And I mean, we can
Sure.
get that same amount of information in 5 to 10 minutes and just really jam pack it. But at
I
the
used to
same
have to go
time,
into an encyclopedia, bro. Just saying.
exactly,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. So
I had
we
to go
we
to the
sped that up.
library. I had to pull out an index. I had to find an index card. Then I had to go find the book. Think about how much time wasted just find. And then I had to find it in the book. So give me a break. All right.
Yeah. And that's exactly how it used to be. But I mean, it took a little bit longer, but at the same time, everybody's on an equal playing field when it comes to information. I mean, that's how it's always been. Everyone has equal access to it. But now at this point, it's what I call is knowledge inflation. The amount of knowledge that's being pumped into the community, if you're not keeping up on it, there's inflation on our dollar, but there's inflation on knowledge too. And the amount of jobs that are being replaced, like it might have been you that posted it about the what is it, the Kellogg's and how much they
Yep.
were
Yep.
producing.
Yep.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, that's happening all over the US. That's happening all over the world. I mean, people are being replaced slowly but surely. And in that post, you even talk about you need to build skills. You need to build the knowledge and the skills to go with it, or you are going to be replaced. And that's happening at a rapid rate, just with as much information's coming out, AI, robots, I mean, all that sort of stuff. So if you're not doing it, 100%, you're going to be out of a job eventually here.
Yeah, man. And let's add something to that, right? The reason, well, first of all, technology moves so fast. You know, I remember Ryan talking about this at one of the events. And like, you know, if you go back to like the 1900s, to go from point A to point B in technology took X amount of time. I don't remember the time he said, but it took a longer period of time. And as we get faster and faster and faster with our technology. Everything's like a split second now. You know, you look at TVs, you look at computers, you look at everything. Like you could buy a brand new top of the line TV today, and then tomorrow something better has come out already. Like it just moves so fast and you have to keep up with it. And it's so much. But the other part, I think that I don't know if it's allowed people to become lazy, but I've also done posts talking about service businesses, and service-based businesses have completely gone to shit. And with that, the reality is your generation, even me, the opportunity has never been greater than now to you don't even have to be good. You just have to show up and you have to communicate and you have to be willing to talk to the customer. You have to just make sure you're on time and you win. That's how easy it is to win right now. And it's crazy because there is a lot of competition, but there really isn't at the same time when you think about it. Like the more I've thought about it, you know, yeah, you look around, you see a lot of people on socials, you see a lot of people leveraging socials, but are they really using it for business? And I've been growing like crazy because when my customer calls, I show up. When my customer calls, I make sure I'm there on time. When my customer calls, I make sure I knock it out of the park for them every single time. And I keep getting new customers because the other companies out there, and I'm not knocking other companies, everybody has their way of doing things, are not doing things that way, or not showing up on time, or not showing up for a day, or not answering an email, or not answering a text, or not answering a phone call. And all I had to do is pick up the phone, be nice to them, show up when I say I'm going to show up, and it's just easy. It's a cakewalk, you know? So there's a lot of things working, I think, against us a little bit when it comes to this, you know, speed of technology. I agree. How fast are you willing to learn? How much effort are you putting into learning? And then are you just being responsive and responsible? It's so stupid to say, like you would think, because that's the one thing about my generation that is different. I think like when you had a company, you had a company, you showed up, you were, you know, people were on time, people did what they said they were going to do. Integrity was a lot more. And that's the funny thing about technology is like integrity's gone out the window with a lot of people. You know, everybody's figured out a way to make a fast buck. But at the same time, when you were talking about strong men and all that other stuff, the pendulum always swings because people are realizing how many people are swindlers out there, how many people are taking advantage. And so it's the ability for us to kind of slide in and say, listen, I'm real, man, and my integrity is strong, and I'm not going to take advantage of you, and proving it by your actions.
Exactly.
So it's pretty wild, man. It's wild times, man. It's like the Wild West out here. That's what it feels like, honestly. I mean, the internet's been around for a while, but you know, it's the Wild West, and I think everything's starting to become tamed. You know, it's like the crypto market. It's the same thing. Like right now, we're still in the Wild West. Eventually, they'll put, you know, regulations and stuff on it, and it'll calm itself down, similar to the stock market. But we're just living through wild times, man. And so where a lot of people are looking at the negativity, I look at the positivity in all this. And I know you do too, because I see how you post and I see how you operate and I see how you carry yourself. So, you know, as somebody who grew up in the time you grew up and watching the way the world is, you kind of grew up in a lot of this chaos, you know what I mean? But you've been able to weather that storm. So maybe speak about how you've been able to do that. Not only have you been able to navigate through it, but also to be 22 years old, you said, right? Running a
Mhm.
freaking business by yourself and trying to scale it to a pretty large company. You know, I think people would be interested to hear that, especially at your age.
Yeah, I mean, they used to say that the reason for idiots is because we didn't have access to information. But that has since been proven wrong, I would say.
You
It's
can't
all
find
about
it now.
how,
I
yeah,
don't want to say it. Maybe I'll keep it PC for that one, but
yeah, no, that works. That works. And I mean, with that, there's just as much junk out there as there is information. And doing an audit on what you're putting in, I mean, when it comes to your newsfeed, when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to like Instagram, before I joined Apex, it was like I was done with social media. I'm like, I'm done with it. Like all of this is garbage. Like there's no reason for me to be putting this in. And then I got to that point where I joined and it was like within 3 days, my entire newsfeed is just positivity. And it was like the change that I had and like that I felt when I go on social media. It's not as addicting because you don't need positivity as much as you look for those distractions. At least you don't get as much dopamine. But going on there and having that motivation every time I'm on there, like I only need 3, 4 posts to get me hyped up to be like, all right, I got to get back to it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So using it the right way is a huge thing. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that, especially on how the algorithm is built. I mean, it's it's designed to distract you. That's the whole point of going on socials, on the internet, even Google. So auditing what you're following, what's on your newsfeed, that's been a huge help. But on top of that, like it creates a way for you to connect with anybody. And I mean, you and I, we're across the US from each other. But at the end of the day, we're still able to connect. We're still able to build value with each other. Like you can surround yourself and have a circle of people, even if it's over the phone, even if you're just texting them, even if it's just on Facebook, like you can surround yourself with those people, and proximity is power. So, I mean, if you're able to do this with literally anybody in the US, I mean, every Monday it's a under 30 call. So it's just a bunch of us business owners that are under 30 years old. We hop on there, we kind of just chop it up, because all of us are kind of at that point where we're breaking out of our circles. Like we don't want to deal with the same friends that are out there drinking, partying, doing all that BS, because at the end of the day, proximity is power. So we're going to be hanging out with each other on Mondays. We're supporting each other. We got a group chats. We're messaging each other. So just make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right people, whether it's over the phone, Facebook, Instagram, digitally, or in person. That's a huge shift that you can make, and technology makes that super, super easy.
100%, 100%. And listen, that's been around for a long time, right? You're the sum of the 5 people you spend your time around. And I've done posts about that too, and how important it is to, I hate to say eliminate's not the right word, but you have a core group of friends and all that stuff, and all that's well and good. But the truth is, if you really want to win in life, you've got to surround yourself with other people that are looking to do the same thing. Nothing screams, I want to get this shit done, like somebody else who's getting it done that I look up to or that I connect with, as opposed to, agreed 100%, before I joined any of these groups, my algorithm was people taking pictures of their food, or,
Politics.
smoking and partying and all that. And now I don't think I've seen one in the longest time. It's like, okay, I'm winning at this and I'm struggling with this, but it's somebody who's working to be better. So it's like, where can I step in and help? And that's the beauty, man. I mean, and that's where the magic's at. I was right there with you. I hated social media. I really did. But once you get a grasp and you surround yourself with and that's the funny thing too about losing my socials and getting back on, is that when I got back on, I was able to eliminate probably 400 people that I was following from my past, and it was all negativity. So now I've literally hand selecting who I'm accepting friend requests from, who I am friending myself, and who I'm keeping in my circle. So when I scroll on my news feed, man, it's this one's crushing, that one's crushing. This one needs help here. I may need a little help here. This is what I got going on. This is how I got from being broke and homeless to running a multi-million-dollar company. Like, that's what you're surrounding. That's your ecosystem. How can you lose when that's your ecosystem? It's very hard to lose. You have to work really hard to lose with that environment. You just do, and I see young guys like you posting shit, winning. And that's the other thing. Our circles, we cheer, man. I'm giving standing ovations in my own house. Like, fuck yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited. I love to see it. I love to see the young generation. I just love to see people in general win, because I know that my turn's coming. And when my turn comes, you're excited for me and I'm excited for you, and we're helping each other out, right? We've had good conversations behind the scenes, and thankfully we also had the opportunity to meet and talk in person. But to your point, what you were saying before, like people I probably am become really, really good friends with, and I've never even met them in person.
Isn't that crazy?
That's what social media is crazy, bro. Like, I've been on Zoom calls or doing this kind of thing, and then getting to know them, and yet never shaking their hand. I remember talking to Max Neist. Actually had him on the show, but we've become friends, and he told me he had a couple of guys that he was friends with for 10 years, 12 years, never met in person, bro. Craziest thing ever. You get frozen?
Yeah, I got frozen there a little bit. We're good now.
Oh, he's back. You guys didn't see it, but I did. All good. Yeah, it's wild, man. Honestly, it has its crazy points, but man, if you use it for the right things, it's a very powerful tool, man. And it's helped me grow my company, and I'm sure you're seeing the results of the hard work, because I know I see you post multiple times, sometimes per day. So it's wild, man. It's wild. It's fun to see.
It's crazy. Man. It's crazy to build the digital relationships, because then you meet them in person. The number one thing every single person tells me is I am shorter in person than I am on social media.
Yeah,
I prefer to keep it virtual.
The other thing too is, a lot of times I'm like communicating with people hard on Facebook, but their pictures like, looks like it's a half a mile away. So you really never get a great look at what their face really looks like. And then
Yeah.
they come and see you at like at a live event. It's like, yo, what's up, Greg? How are you? I'm like, fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And you're like, oh shit, what's up, bro? How are
Yeah.
you? But it's good, man. And everybody understands it, like a lot of us go in, a lot of people don't know about me. And I did a post a while back, but I deal with a lot of social anxiety. I think I was talking to you about this a little bit. And so that flight over as much, and I love being with our FOC and like spending time and having these business conversations, but it's a lot of stress, like drive, especially when you're meeting people for the like physically for the first time. But it's a blessing, bro. It really is, and I love it, man. I mean, you gotta love this journey, bro. And for you at your age, if I had any advice to give, it's like soak all this shit up, bro. When I was 22, I was selling drugs. I was getting into trouble. I was basically bouncing from house to house to house. I didn't know what the hell was up. So to see guys like you, and I told Zach the same thing, Cade the same thing, to see guys your age operating the way that you do, you're way ahead of most people. You're way ahead of where I was at your age. I was a fucking mess. So, hats off to you. And, it's pretty dope to see. And honestly, it's fun, man. It's fun. I enjoy it, bro. You gotta ride that motherfucker and enjoy every second of it, man. I see you do, soak it up.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I think being a sponge, that's gonna be crucial moving forward. And yeah, enjoying the lows, because I mean, the mentality I have going into it is I am gonna fail. I mean, there's no way that I'm gonna come in here at 22, never owning a business, and I'm just gonna run it flawless, right? And maybe when I first started, like that's the big dream, is like, oh, this is gonna work super, super nice, super easy, get all these golden tickets that, oh, this is gonna work for me, this is gonna be the new thing. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, just accepting that you're gonna fail, but realizing that you're gonna learn more from that point than you are when you win. I mean, everybody takes their wins for granted, but of course, when you fail, you're kind of ingraining that in your brain that I'm not going to be doing that again. You're going to learn a lot more from it. So knowing you're going to fail and that it's never going to be perfect, you're not looking for progression, or not looking for perfection, you're looking for progression, is definitely helped me significantly.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And it's fun. I think Ryan put up a story the other day. Maybe it was today. He was just talking about like a lot of us, we start with the same mentality, and then you'll have friends support you out of the gate and things feel good. But the hardest part about being a business owner, the hardest part about being an entrepreneur, and the hardest part about growth is you're going to go through these lulls. And the question is, when you're going through those lulls, are you the person that sticks with it and sticks it out to the end? Or are you the type of person that throws the towel in and then either stops for a while and starts another venture, or and I've done it. It's like, oh, this isn't working. Let me go to this thing. Let me go. No, focus, keep your head on straight, keep looking in the right direction, because eventually you'll have breakthroughs, but people don't stick it out long enough a lot of times to find that breakthrough. So, that's been a very important lesson that I've learned. I had to learn it the hard way. You're going to probably learn it at times the hard way. And you're already learning it based on our conversation, right? It's like, even when it comes to how you and Brock kind of like work out who's going to do what, and like trying to figure out what pieces to put where, and you have org charts that you're trying to figure out who plugs in where and what works. All those things are learning processes, because in 2-3 years from now, you will be running it as flawless as possible. And even then, you're still going to be learning new lessons. You're going to find better ways to do things. You're going to have to, it's like marketing, right? Like you were talking about throwing things at the wall, seeing if they stick. Sometimes you have to try different things if something's not working. And even if it is working, we're entrepreneurs, bro. I don't know
Yeah.
if you notice this with the way our minds work, but status quo is not in the docket, bro. It's like, it's getting a little quiet in here. I think it's time to try something not different, like within your industry, but all right, how do we ramp this thing up, or how do we do it differently so we can, because you'll go through this plateau. Like, Andy talks about it, calls it a hockey stick, the way the progression goes, right? Like it's real flat. And then eventually, after all the hard work and all the things you put in it, just, and that's, we have to plug and play to find that nice dip. So,
Yeah, I heard an analogy on it, is that you're as strong as your weakest link, and as you go through, you're strengthening each link. And to get what you want and to actually pull that heavy load of what you want in life, you need every link strengthened. And you might not get all of them perfect. you're not going to be able to pull it in. But as soon as that last one, as soon as you get that last link, I mean, you're going to get everything that you were looking for. And it's just a matter of finding those links, strengthening them. And then once you get to that point, I mean, everything just starts flowing in. So yeah, I love that hockey stick analogy for sure. It's the exact way that it's been. And I mean, as I get new skills, I get that little hockey stick, and then it kind of plateaus again until I get new skills, new knowledge, or learn something that we need to do differently. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like, it does like one of these things where it's like goes up and then it goes sideways. Sometimes it goes a little down. Like you don't want to drop all the way to the bottom, but that happens to people too. But the thing is that I think makes you different and makes me different and makes people that think like us different is that we never give in. And that's the biggest key. Like just don't quit, because the and here's the funny thing, right? So when you first started, you're at the bottom, and then you take this nice trip up, and then maybe you take to the side, and then maybe it dips to the bottom. But you know what the most amazing thing is? That trip that you took originally from the bottom to where you ended up, where maybe it fell down, your trip back to where you were before is a lot faster because you learned all those lessons along the way to rebuild it if you have to, or to change it up in a way that's going to help you. So, it's super important for people to understand, because I have this a lot in conversations I have with people, is that you get so caught up in like failing that you fail to also realize that all that shit you just did got you to where you were, which means you can get there again. And now you're just going to know how to do it better. You're not going to allow yourself to fail again.
exactly. Yeah, you're going to put what's in place that's needed in order to not drop back down. So at least that's going to be sustainable at that point.
Right. And hopefully you don't drop below that point again. You might stay there for a while, still trying to figure it out, right back to the hockey stick. But you're going to go through ebbs and flows like everybody else, man. I'm only 3.5 years into my business, and it's the same thing, bro. It's a process. It's okay. We plug this in, that didn't work. Now we have to plug this in, that didn't. And eventually the pieces do start to fall into place. You and I talked about how hard conversations have to be had. I'm not going to get into the details of that right now, but you know what? That's been a game changer, and that's the other thing. I think people are so scared right now. Communication is such a problem because people are so scared to rub the next one the wrong way, whether it be your spouse, whether it be a business partner, anybody that's important in your life. We're all afraid to have the hardest conversations, and you have to put that fear to the side. The person that's your other half in that particular situation, in this situation, let's talk business. If they can't understand where you're coming from, or they're going to get upset about what you have to say, then you have a problem to begin with. You have to be able to go in there and lay all the cards on the table. Here's my hand. This is what I want to do. This is what I think is best for the business. Doesn't mean they can't tell you what they think is best. And just lay it all out on the table. To have the balls to say, this is what it's got to be. And this is how I feel. And this is how we have to move forward. And that's it. But so many of us are so scared to do it.
Yeah. And I think being vulnerable enough to drop that on them. And then at the same time, I mean, dropping it out in the right way is huge. I mean, like putting the cards on the table and say, this is how I see it. This is where I think we need to go. What are your thoughts? And then at least you're kind of keeping it open. So it's not just kind of strong arming them, because that takes a lot more work than people. Because I mean, people can come in and they can bully you into doing stuff. And that takes a lot less than actually having an open conversation and kind of building off of that. So yeah, I mean, you're 100% right in being able to have those conversations, but being vulnerable at the same time as you do it is huge.
Yeah, nah, there's no doubt about that, man. Yeah, that's huge, bro. I didn't want to stop this without at least asking you about your business too, because we really didn't get into much of that. And I'm just curious, like how you even got into solar, and maybe just talk about for the people listening to hear about your business too, because I think we'd be doing you a huge disservice if we didn't at least touch on the most important thing in your life right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, getting into solar, it was, I developed the solar fields is what I was building when I was an electrician. And then kind of moving in through like job applications, I accidentally applied for a sales job, which is what kind of pushed me towards it, because I saw the amount that they could make. I thought I was an electrician. I'm like, let's do it. And then I heard it was sales, and it's like, well, you only get paid based on production. And I'm like, well, you got me sold at that. If I don't have to go out there hourly, I can just do it based on the amount that I'm getting done. Like, sign me up. And that's been kind of a huge factor for me, and especially breaking off from doing it from a sales organization to doing it on my own. Just because I see that the production I do here, yeah, I'm getting paid for it, but at the same time, I know I can be doing double that if I end up having my own company. and I can go in the direction that I want. I can do the websites how I'd like. I can change the marketing. Like I can build my own culture instead of being stuck with what you guys have built. So having that idea of my production is going towards my own dreams has been something that is addicting to say the least.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, solar's been, it's been awesome to me. We started it last year, actually. So it's about a year in the making, year and 2 months at this point, in Colorado. And that has grown into Minnesota and then also New Mexico. You mentioned at the beginning, I'm moving down there. Also looking to move down to New Mexico and open that market too. So it's ebbs and flows as we've been going through it. And we're at that point where it's like, all right, we have a model and we're just hammering home on it in other states to keep making it successful, because it's worked for us elsewhere. Might as well start testing it out and see how big we can make it.
100%, bro. It's huge. It's huge. And again, you know, for you guys listening, man, 22, you know, like just put that in your pipe and smoke it, as they say, because it blows my mind. I'll be honest. And if this is the direction, you know, that the country's going, even though everything seems like doom and gloom and everybody's all down on it, I think, you know, we're in good hands, you know, and, it's really wild to see, man. And I'll be honest, as one friend to another, and almost like, you know, sometimes I feel like a freaking mentor. You know, I feel like a friend, but I feel like a mentor is somebody who's been through a lot of shit and been able to create relationship with you. I'm proud, you know, to watch you and see your growth and be a part of it in reality and fly in the same circles, bro. It's pretty awesome. It gives me a lot of energy. You know, I mean, I take good care of my body and I don't feel like a 40-year-old man. I mean, thankfully, you know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I know my age and, uh, you know, it's a good thing, man. And I'm really happy for you, bro. I really am. And I think the sky's the limit, bro. And, you know, for me is if you ever need anything from me, you know, that line's always open as well. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely mutual. I mean, the mentor and the friendship side, I think you nailed it there. You're definitely looked at as both by me and a lot of people in the community that we run with. So yeah, you
yeah,
definitely are appreciated.
yeah, it means a lot, man. And, you know, that's what I'm going for. At the end of the day, I think all of us, you know, our mission at the end of the day is to help as many people as possible. You know, I mean, we may say our mission differently, but in reality, for me at this point, because of everything that I went through, if I can lend a helping hand to somebody, and I know you're exactly the same way, that's what we do, you know, and that's what our communities do. And, you know, people come and go out of our communities, but the reality is the ones that stick are the ones that live within the integrity that we talk about. And that really, I have no agenda inside these groups or in anything. You know, I have nothing to sell. I'm a boiler mechanic. You know, if you want plumbing and you live in New York, you know, I'm willing to help you, but none of the stuff I put out there has a dollar value attached to it. It's just literally me going out there every day and posting my experiences. And you've been doing exactly the same. You know, we put that stuff out there and it helps people. That's free shit. Like, I'm not looking for anything. I'm not asking. I'm not sliding in your DM like, yo, you want to buy something? Yeah, I'm going to be starting a coaching program, but it's not going to be down your throat just to help, you know, people a little bit more in depth and all that other stuff. So it's a blessing, bro. It really is, man. And we have to treat every day like a blessing, and we can't waste the time that we have. You know, we really have to build our relationships and grow individually and grow as a team and grow as a business and all those things simultaneously. So before we jump off, I just want you to let people know where to find you. You know, I'm gonna post all your stuff in the show notes as well, like your socials and whatnot. Let people know where they can find you and you know, go from there.
Yeah. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, those are gonna be the best ones for me. Kramer is spelt a little odd as you said at the beginning. It's Kremer, so it's just Adam Kremer on any socials. You'll be able to find me. So definitely connect with me there if you have any questions or anything you're looking to get help with.
Appreciate that. If you guys listening, man, this was packed full of a lot of good stuff, man. I mean, just a wide range of different topics. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and you know what to do. Go leave me a 5-star review. You know you want to. Don't waste any time. As soon as you're done hearing this, go do it. But I appreciate you guys for listening. Adam, my brother, I really appreciate you coming on, bro. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
informative. Always good to get to know each other even a little bit better, you know, through the years. And I wish you nothing but success, bro. And I have no doubts that you're going to reach the mountaintops. You just got to keep pushing hard, bro.
Heck yeah, that's the plan. I appreciate it.
All right, yeah. Peace out.